when Cartoon Network began back in the early 90s, it was airing some classic Hanna-Barbera cartoons. But soon, Cartoon Network would start releasing its own content, its own original content. But a launching point for this was What a Cartoon, which was a half-hour series that spawned 2 or 3 cartoons per episode. And it led to some of its greatest cartoons like Dexter's Laboratory, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Johnny Bravo, Powerpuff Girls, Cow and Chicken, and Johnny Bravo, but there were still a bunch of one-off cartoons that were pretty good. So I decided to take a look and count down my top 10 favorite What a Cartoon episodes. A little honorable mentions here to Boyd and Wine, Cow and Chicken, No Smoking, which was the pilot for Cow and Chicken, Powerpuff Girls, Crime 101, and Meet Fuzzy Lumpkins, which was the pilot for that. Johnny Bravo and Johnny Bravo and the Amazon Women, which is the pilot for that. Larry and Dino, The Great Escape, which is another Dino cartoon that's on my list. Dexter's Laboratory, Changes, and Big Sister. And a shout out that I almost spoiled to Larry and Steve, which was written by Seth MacFarlane and was actually a pilot, a template for what will go on to become Family Guy. So that's big. It just edged out at number 11. So this is 10. So number 10 is Dino in Stay Out. And this is a classic cartoon. It features the cat that we see at the end of every episode of the Flintstones, even though we never see it in any damn episode of the Flintstones. But here, Dino is responsible. Fred's going out bowling, leaving Wilma at home, and she's only heard as a voice. But Fred's going out bowling and leaves Dino in charge of putting the cat out and keeping him out. O-W-T, as he spells it out. The cat keeps coming back, and there's a whole shenanigans about trying to keep the cat out. And of course, there's a gag at the end where it's revealed there's more than one cat. Who knows? Number 9 is Pizza Boy in No Tip. And this is a weird one. This is the first one I watched. I was rewatching. It's the first one I rewatched. It's a really weird one. It was kind of lower on my list. But then I watch it and I'm like, it's still one of my favorites, but it's up on the top. And it's this pizza boy. He's told that if he can deliver a pizza to the Arctic Circle in 5 minutes or less, he gets a big tip. And it's this couple, and the wife is sick of blubber. And so they order a pizza. And it takes the whole entire episode to get there, and they get there just in time. He gets there just in time, and he gives the pizza, and there's blubber on the pizza. So the lady says no tip, and he freaks out on her. And then we cut to him in jail, speaking with a priest. And when the priest says he's going to give him a tip, advice, he freaks out again. It's a good episode, decent, fine. It's wacky. Number 8 is Mina and the Count. This is the Count Dracula, but we can't mention his copyright, And he is sent to find his next victim, whose name is Mina. She's supposed to be 23. Instead, she's a little girl. And he ends up having playtime with her that night, really. And then goes home the next day and eats Igor, I guess. Fun episode. It's a little bit higher on this because I thought it was going to be better, but, Number 7 is Blue's Gang. And this one, Blue and they're all British-speaking dogs, even though the rest of the place isn't. But they decide to become pirates one night and go around the neighborhood, and they end up, going after a cat. One of these cats. They take a plunger and they go make him walk the plank. There's a plunger on his head. And then they say, they got a meat truck. So they leave, and the cat falls in the sandbox, and they go after the meat truck. And then a whole bunch of cats show up to eat all the meat from the meat truck. So, it's funny. I really enjoy it this time. But yeah. Number 6 is Hard Luck Duck. And this is another one where it harkens back. It kind of reminds me like someone's trying to pay tribute to Yaki Duck and Wally Gator, because there's 2 characters. There's Hard Luck Duck and Ollie Gator, which kind of makes me think that's what's supposed to be. It may be Hokey Wolf, but it's basically Hard Luck Duck is going to, spend his day away while Alligator takes a nap, and he's being chased by this wolf, and at every turn, the wolf shows up, then Alligator shows up to foil the wolf. It's one of those kind of things that go back and forth. It's kind of funny. I really like it. Number 5 is Help! And it's this cat who, while sewing or needlepoint, whatever, pokes his finger and is constantly going around this hospital trying to get help. He finally finds this doctor who's lost his damn mind, and every time he's trying to show him what's wrong with him, this swats it away and tries to look for something else. And there's these, 3 little assistants. Every time they show up, this music plays, whatever. It's really weird. It's one of those cartoons that there's no talking, it's just other sound going on with it. And it's a really fun cartoon, I gotta admit. Number 4 is The Kitchen Casanova. Okay, this guy is about this guy. He's making supper for his date, and his date shows up. There's this weird joke at the beginning where they go, hello, huh, hello, hello, hello. They're missing each other at the door. I don't know. Eventually, he burns the supper, throws out the window, lands on her car, and he decides he's got to make a new dinner. So he's going to make a salad. Well, it's that old gag where you have the cookbook by the window, and the wind keeps blowing it, and he's going to a different recipe, so he's adding one thing, another thing. It becomes this disgusting looking thing, and when he presents it to her, she acts like she doesn't want anything to do with it, and he freaks out, and he cries, and he's upset because he messes up, and so she starts eating it, and she's enjoying it, so he starts eating it, and they start eating the table, and then they kiss, and yeah, there's also a part where she looks like she's about to eat the dog because she's so hungry. It's fun. Number 3 is Gramps, and this is basically an old guy telling his grandchildren about how he defended the Earth from aliens, and it's kind of one of those. It reminds me of an old Daffy Duck cartoon where he's yelling at the animator and stuff. Hey, stuff like that, and it's fun. It's fun, and the voice talents in this. We got Rob Paulson, Kath Soucie, Christine Cavanaugh, what's his name? Charlie Adler. Great voice cast in this. And it's probably one of my favorites. It's in the top 5, number 3. But yeah, it's a great cartoon. I suggest you watch. I'm not going to ruin it. I suggest you watch it. It's fun. Number 2 is Awfully Lucky. And this one, about this guy, he comes across this pearl that gives you very good luck. Immediately followed by very bad luck. And the one thing that kind of keeps this down for me, why it's not number 2, is watching it this time I realized, why doesn't he get rid of this thing? Because constantly he's getting good luck and bad luck. The good luck and get bad luck. And the only thing I can think of is he wants that $10 million that he's going to get. Because the thing is, he hears this old guy who wants to get rid of this because it's cursed. And the museum is offering the guy $10 million. The guy says it's not worth it. So our hero, so to speak, our main character for this, jumps off the pier and grabs the pearl. And then stuff happens, and I'm not going to ruin it, but it gets wacky and weird. And by the end, he's ready to get rid of it too. So, yeah. And number 1 is The Chicken from Outer Space, and it's the Courage the Cowardly Dog pilot. And basically, the chicken comes from outer space, and he lays eggs, and he's going to try to take over the world, because if you eat his eggs, you become an evil chicken too. And Eustace eats one of the eggs, and he starts to turn into a chicken. This one is really rare, though, because there's not a lot of talking in this. And Courage doesn't sound like he usually does. That's a pilot. But it's very different. The only thing you really get from Eustace is oh, something like that. And then, Miriam, she only says like, ooh, Eustace, stuff like that. This is nothing big. It's a pilot. But it's always the most memorable one for me out of all of these, and that's why it's number 1. So, before I do my outro, I just want to say, one of these times, not today because I'm freaking tired, maybe this weekend, I'm going, because they're short enough, I'm going to do commentaries for each one of the top 10 in here. Just kind of talk about them and stuff, but I'll do that maybe sometime this weekend when I had enough sleep and I'm not completely exhausted from work. But so let me know in the comments below what you think of this list. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Scotty. See you in the next one.